Hello, I am Abigail Doust, and I am here equipping you to be a world changer, to listen and to love well. And today we are talking about relationships. Relationships are absolutely critical. Now, I want you to know that this is coming from a person who is incredibly task oriented, okay? I am a driver, I move things forward, I get what I set my mind to, but I'm also very careful and detail oriented. I like checking things off of lists. I like to make a plan. I like to be thorough and think things through. So for me to say relationships are key is actually to tell you of a journey that I have had over the last 15 years of really asking God, come on now, isn't this enough? Can't I just run for you and do awesome things for you? And do I really need this messiness of relationship? Because quite frankly, that is so often what it is. And if you're like me, you have some tragedies, some bodies in the ditch of some relationships that haven't gone well. And the more we get hurt, the more we think, maybe I just can't stomach this. Maybe I won't open up to someone again. Maybe I can't be vulnerable like this. Maybe I just can't live this way. It's better for me if I'm just isolated and shut myself off. And if you feel that way now or have felt that way, I can absolutely tell you you're not alone. And I myself have experienced that because the burns from broken relationships, they linger, they stay with you, and it's hard. But here's the thing. God made us for relationship. He absolutely did. Relationships are everything. They are the reason that we feel this fellowship, this connection. God intended us for that kind of connection. And the Bible is full of relationships and full of how he wants us to have those friends and family and friends that are like family. And the way that we honor each other actually honors him. And so Brene Brown says it well, that to be in any kind of healthy or worthwhile relationship, you have to be vulnerable. And so even when you're broken and even when it becomes feeling like it's impossible, we need to just be brave and be daring and try again. So my challenge to you today is to take stock of your relationships and how you're doing. How are you doing at loving on other people, like in caring for people who are maybe hurting or in need? How are you doing with your peer relationships? People who don't necessarily need anything from you. Are you leaning into people who just care about you for you? And are you being mentored? Are you leaning into people who know more than you or are ahead of you on the journey, either spiritually ahead of you on the journey or ahead of you with your season of life? Because they're wise people that have been there, done that, and it's really good for us to lean into them. Now, Dr. Cloud wrote a book called The Power of the Other, and this kind of leans in. For me, it really clarified different kinds of relationships and the power they have over us. So we all have sort of what he calls box one, corner one relationships, and those are voices in our head or real people in our lives that say tremendously negative things. So if a coach said something derogatory toward you, 30 years ago, you might still remember that. Something that one of your parents or grandparents kind of drilled into, you might hear that voice still, whether they're with us on this earth or not. And sometimes people, even today in our lives, maybe a spouse or a friend or a boss who says something harsh or critical or doesn't believe in you that you can do it, those really impact us. And if you have those types of things, those types of voices in your life right now, I ask for you to ask God to overcome those, to be on the other side of that, and to trust him to not listen and be so deterred by those voices, because they can be incredibly negative, influential in you not accomplishing your dreams and not going for what you feel wired for. But likewise, there are corner two relationships, which are good but superficial. They're not as deep as they could be. We've got corner three relationships, which is trouble. Like we go for that quick fix. We want something, so we go to an escape, or we go to someone who just makes us feel good for the moment, but that doesn't really help for the long haul and can lead us to trouble. Friends that help us feel like we can escape the world aren't necessarily the people who are going to walk alongside us best. But corner four are really the most precious relationships, because they're people who know you well and love you and believe in you and encourage you and want you to thrive. And those are hard to come by, but they are worth pursuing. And God has people in your life, whether you know them yet or not, that really do believe in you and want to know you, like for you to fully be known and loved for who you are. And I hope you can find those, but you can also be that person. So starting today, you can be that person. And relationships are worth making time for. So even though you're busy and we've got things going, I think COVID certainly showed us that we need people. When even the introverts are saying enough already, where are the people? Then you know we've been isolated enough. Relationships are everything. What can you do to build safety and trust with someone in your life? Even if you've been hurt in the past, what can you do to be that encouragement to someone else, or to seek that relationship and that encouragement out for yourself today? Take a step. Tell me about it. Tell me how it's going. I can't wait to hear how you're making relationships key in your life.